Good. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We will wait for a few moments for people to show up, and we will be getting started. So, yeah. Okay, good morning from Missouri. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are getting everything set up. Okay. Sorry about that. Good morning, Winks. How's the Plains doing this morning? Okay, we have Missouri, New York. As you guys are coming on, it looks like you guys, we have more people on. So just let us know where you're coming in from, and we will try to kick this off with a bang. As much as possible. So, yeah. Pennsylvania, good morning, proud. Washington, Georgia, Pennsylvania. Can everybody else hear me or no? Anybody else? The world. Okay. Florida. Okay. Good. I'm glad people can hear me. Yeah, my wife has somebody from the school talking to her about our kids, so that's going on upstairs, and the kids are just having a heyday. So, yes, welcome everybody. Looks like we have quite a few people in here, and I'm just not seeing the numbers. Kids are on fire. Yes, they are. So, I guess the biggest news of the day so far really is that the English. So Queen Elizabeth's husband, Prince Philip, died. I'm sorry, I don't share the sentiment of everybody on the mainstream media where they're just gushing over how much of a saint he was. It's kind of disgusting because the guy wasn't a good fella. Basically, they're saying that she's going to spend 8 days in mourning. Who cares? I mean, really, it's not really that big of a loss. But in other news, we have a whole bunch of states after the executive order the executive orders yesterday. We have been really tracking a lot of the state movements, and I think we are now up to 30 states have passed executive orders over or legislation that will make it constitutional carry, or basically outlawing any access to federal officers in regards to citizens. So if they won't be able to use public jails, none of that, and they go to take guns and people refuse to give it up. So yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of action today in regards to they're already filing lawsuits like crazy. And I think it's a absolutely beautiful thing to see. So yeah, people we're just it's going to be a fight on our hands, and I think we are just at the very beginning. Other news, there has been so I alluded to some news that was breaking last night in regards to the family that was on the other night, and we are I am currently working with several law enforcement officers to dive deep into what all happened, and there is an official investigation that is opening up. So that's what they want. That's what they wanted. And sometimes when we take the time to listen to people's problems and their pains and the different things that make them tick, it really opens up our hearts, and we're able to actually do good by them and do right by their family. And it doesn't matter who they are. It could be this family, it could be your family. It's this is stuff that I take very seriously. And if there's not an investigation, we want to call for one. So, but I wanted to break the news to them first before I broke it live on the air, because it is concerning them, not other people. So, as far as stuff like that, they 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 won't address any issues in regards to potential targets, so on and so forth. And the DOJ will basically do their job. Maybe they'll get past feelings of racism. Well, there there's a lot more to it, and I do believe they were targeted, and for a very specific reason. So if it comes out, and when it comes out, people might sing a little different tune. But yeah, as far as people, I want just remember, when there are if you have kids and you're hearing that they're playing games over at somebody's house, or you have grandkids and they're playing games over at somebody's house that involves taking clothes off, it is something that needs to be addressed right away. Okay, Weeks, I will get Jason on that right away. I know he's working, but he's been tracking stuff like that. But yeah, I don't it's not a good thing, and we want to make sure. And Guy, I can assure you that their feelings were justified. They don't have any problem with white people in general. They have a problem with the people that did this, and at all levels. And there, if you have seen the stuff that I've seen and heard the stuff that I've heard, I would tend to agree with them in that aspect. So yeah, they're as far as you know, and we have they have. That's why we wanted an investigation, because we wanted to make sure that if it was addressed and it wouldn't happen to anybody else. So I can I agree. We were they're getting the help, and now now we're gonna let the DOJ do what they need to do. Good morning. What did you miss? Well, not a whole lot. I mean, we just I'll clue you in, King Me, after if you don't watch the beginning. I mean, we've only been on for 11 minutes, so. But yeah, so we're we do agree that it was long overdue, and we wanted to make sure that they receive justice. Now, hopefully, it's handcuff time. But we're gonna allow the justice system to play out, and people to be allowed to run its course. So, did I get the feds involved? Yeah, I actually turned over. Before they were on, I received a good amount of documents from the family. I reviewed it before I brought them on, because I wanted to make sure that I had an understanding of what was going on beforehand. And when I seen what was going on, I brought in a retired FBI profiler that I know, and he asked that I allow him to turn this over and actually have a field office look at it. And as soon as I contacted the family, they said they want as many people, as many eyeballs on it in the law enforcement community. They wanted to look at it. And so I told him, go ahead. He turned it over to a friend of his, highlighted a lot of the issues with the whole case, and they, they have they are moving forward with it. So we're working with a team of specialists. I know there are people that are involved from the channel, all across the board. We have people that have actually been looking into the medical records, into the CPS records, going through and diving deep and seeing where this all broke down, and if it's a systemic problem. So we're going to let the feds do their job. But nothing on Biden's calendar. Okay. Yeah, just keep us up to date. Bye. Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a heads up real quick, just let you guys know what's going on. And we're gonna do what we can. So I'm just a person. I'm gonna address this. I'm not an angel. I'm just a person who wants to see justice done. And sometimes we could I could do what so many journalists would do and write a story and get a Pulitzer and all that and just call it a day. Or you could see justice done and push to get something done. Because once stuff's done and it actually goes, then there's it gives a lot more relief than a Pulitzer would. And I hope that if there was ever a time that I got accused or something like this happened to me, I would hope that I would have the same kind of backing. 14 years is a long time to go. But yeah, going going on to talking to the the lady that went missing in California about 3.5 months ago. Hold on a second. There was a article that was just posted that the husband, they found out that he had gunpowder residue. He was tested for gunpowder residue and he tested positive for gunpowder residue, but yet he is still free. There's, I mean, we're the brother of the lady that's missing said that he has lost all faith in the local police department to solve this case. He said they just took our information on where we searched. We even asked some serious questions. We went, we were, yeah, we even asked them some serious questions. We went in there with a few questions of our own and they couldn't answer anything. Maya Millette was last seen in her Chula Vista home by her husband, Larry Millette, on January 7th, the same day she made an appointment with a divorce lawyer for the following week. 6 loud bangs that could be gunshots were captured on the neighbor's surveillance system around 10 p.m. that night, on the night that Maya went missing. On that day, Larry Millette told Little he had gunpowder residue on his hand because he had been shooting in the past several days. I mean, I don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but it sounds like a Scott Peterson case all over again. And here's a story for you New Yorkers. The top house Republicans are pressing Biden's coronavirus rescue plan czar, Eugene Sperling, to review the $2 billion fund New York created this week aimed at giving money to illegals in the state. Budget Committee Ranking Member Representative Jason Smith, Republican Missouri, and Oversight Ranking Member James Comer sent a letter to Sperling, whose official title is American Rescue Plan Coordinator, on Friday. In it, they asked him to investigate the New York program, which will offer one-time payments of up to $15,000 to undocumented immigrants who have lost their jobs during the pandemic. Given the questions raised by the actions of the state of New York, we sincerely hope you will use your position to protect the integrity of the American taxpayer dollars and put American families first. Comer and Smith pointed out that what they say is a quite peculiar price tag on New York funding for illegal immigrants. The $1.9 trillion spending plan enacted last month allocated monetary relief to states using a new biased formula that resulted in New York and other states run by Democrat officials receiving disproportionately more aid than previous coronavirus relief bills. Coincidentally, the additional federal funds New York appears to be receiving because of the change in funding distribution formula is exactly as this new fund for illegal immigrants, $2.1 billion. So I don't know who you're calling fake king, but yeah, you could actually be cited for even reporting that they gave you false documents. And yeah, I agree. It's crazy. Up to 15,000 illegals can get the money, but business owners and people can't get it. I mean, quite honestly, being a small business owner myself, I don't have any patience for stupidity. And I believe that a lot of people are going out of their way to really spend this country into a debt hole that we can't ever climb out. They were talking about Trump. I think if you look at Obama, there was $7.5 trillion that was added to the debt, and under Trump, I'm not 100% sure how much was added. That's a good question. That might be a good thing for our New Yorkers to ask. The Democrats want us to collapse, yes. And I have a theory, and I'm gonna look into it a little bit further before I really say it. But I brought up a question the other night on the Signal chat and on live. So if you have people who want you to do nothing and want so all this stuff with the QAnon stuff, I'm gonna just tell you guys what bothers me about it, because I really it's people just don't understand why I have a problem with it. So when you are told over and over and over again, don't worry, the battle's already won. Don't worry, it's coming close. Don't worry, it's just about here, and you're strung along. Does it sound like something that's actually happening? We've always conservatives have always been classified as hardworking individuals. We're the ones who work because nobody else wants to. So if we're the ones that work, and you really and you're being told, hey, the battle's already won, the country's already going to be doing really awesome after this whole great reset. Question for you: does that sound like a Republican plan, an independent plan, or does that sound like a Democrat plan? I mean, think about it. All of those are very good questions. If Republicans are known for hard work and all that, and they know, oh, well, we just have to invent something and qualify, give enough information that's true to make people believe it, and then just over and over and over tell them, hey guys, just relax, everything's already taken care of for you, you don't have to fight for it. And all of a sudden they have a bunch of complacent people. That plays right into their hands. There's a reason I don't follow along with all the Q and all that stuff, because quite honestly, I see it for what it is. It's a complacency thing. If something doesn't happen, I think enough will be upset to create a serious uproar. Yeah, but they just keep stringing people along. Oh, it's a military operation. Oh, so that's just going to qualify changing that over and over and over and moving that goalpost further and further down the road? I don't think so. One or two times, yes. But there has been dates dropped time after time after time. And people keep believing the time and the time and time. It's time to stop. It's time to stop believing that and actually take action yourself. Actually do what we talk about. Contact your representatives. Do stuff that's actually constructive. Hold rallies. I mean, even if you do a local thing, film it, put it out online. Stuff like that gets attention, and it draws attention. And quite honestly, we say this in press, but in the media business, any attention is good attention. I don't care if it's negative publicity or not. The more people that are looking at you and are seeing what you're doing, the better off you are. As far as the QAnon and all that stuff, right now, so many people are disillusioned by all the stuff that people really don't know what to believe anymore. And quite honestly, I understand why. Bingo. When the American when a few patriots signed the Declaration of Independence, it was a few against many. When the colonies won their independence, it was a few against the many. Conservatives are marginalized. They're beaten down. They're broken, and then they're destroyed from within by people who really could care less about whether or not they stay. The Democrats are very loud. Yep, they are. They are the loudest people out there, and that's honestly why they have got the attention. Could you imagine if conservatives and libertarians are were anywhere close to as loud? What kind of change would happen in this country? And it's not just being really loud for just one day. It's being loud for years. The trial happened for George Floyd. Yeah. So anybody that really cares about my opinion, and a lot of people don't, but I believe that Derek Chauvin will walk. Whether or not he does, it's already pre-written, and they've already stated it don't matter. They are going to burn down Minneapolis, and it's not going to stop there. It's going to reignite race wars all across this country, and that will be an excuse. And they will do it to provoke patriots to stand up. There is probably going to be a civil war. As much as I hate to say it, and it's just a left right paradigm that needs to be broken. You have the radicals that are willing to do anything and everything to gentrify and take this country down a road that is they're going to take us down a road where our country will either it's going to be crazy. Um, I don't know who you are, but if you have something to say and you want to debate me on this topic, I will gladly bring you on because quite honestly, I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Conservatives in this country are going down that road, and the left is pushing that cart as quickly as they can. It's pretty terrifying when they, at the drop of a hat, shut down roads going in and out of a state because of the uproar. Yeah. I believe that to be true. I know. I had a friend of mine that was just talking about going to the Mall of America out in Minneapolis, and they called me and asked, and I was like, "Why would you go there? There's a trial going on that if you get caught up anywhere close to that, you probably would get hurt." She's like, "No, I just realized that," and now they're going somewhere else. But National Guard can put down most violence. I agree with that. However, you only have so many National Guard troops. And if they want to get really nasty, by the time they're completely mobilized. I don't. A lot of damage can be done. Look at Minneapolis before. No, but if you're thinking of fear mongering, come out and say it. I'm not for me. If you have some good statistics, by all means. But if you're here just to cause derision, then I would just politely ask that you leave. Yeah, Democrats and leftists. Yeah, when you're talking about nationwide, it put us straight on the resources to the point where there wouldn't be effective. It wouldn't be as effective as we needed it to be. And, and I think things have came a long way since the 1960s. The organization, the guerrilla tactics, the, these guys know what they're doing, and they're willing to videotape this whole thing just to incite a national narrative. I am more middle of the road than most people would even realize. I don't like violence. I abhor violence. I wish people would actually sit down and have a discussion. But the thing is when you have left wing doctrine in our schools and that's all kids are taught, they think they're in the middle and they're not. So I don't agree with you. There's just so few people in the middle. I mean, even at the federal level, even at the state level, there's so few people in the middle that we never get anything accomplished. Who would call up the National Guard? Well, it'd be on the states to do so. the feds can push that to happen, but the states are the ones that actually ultimately would do it. Yeah, and I mean, quite honestly, the way I look at it is I have voted both sides of the aisle. And I'll be honest, I'm not registered as a conservative. I am socially conservative. I am fiscally conservative, but I am registered as an independent. So I'm very middle of the road. I don't have any problems debating both sides, both topics. But I have a strong background in making sure, just having a pulse on what's actually going on in society. And I could tell you, just from talking to people that I know in Minneapolis, they said that it will be a war zone, and it won't matter what happens, whether he's convicted or not. And that's a sad state of affairs that the U.S. is in. Patriot lady, no, we're talking about the potentiality of a civil war and how close and what they are trying to do. Somebody I know, the Chauvin family said, I I have heard the same thing, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I have heard that. Is any acts by police too much? Yeah, but when they use a single video to burn down half a city or even a quarter of the city, I don't care how much. If they burn down one building, it's too much. It doesn't. The ends don't justify the means. When when you look at the actual evidence, and yes, I have been paying attention to the trial, and I have looked at numerous tapes, but I don't believe that. Oh, he had his knee on his neck the whole time. According to every count, 3 minutes, which is abnormally long. But the expert witnesses that they brought in yesterday, and they were talking about, oh, the drugs didn't have any problem or any part in his passing. I'm gonna flat out call that guy a liar. He had fatal dose. He had fatal levels of fentanyl in his system and methamphetamine. The second you start to increase heart rate, where do those drugs go? When your blood's pumping faster, where do those drugs go? To every single place in your body. You don't have to respirate any harder, but those drugs are killing his brain and every other organ in his body quicker than the knee would. Yep. One moment, I'm gonna blow my nose. He was in respiratory distress in the back of the car. In the back of the car. Yep. In the back of the car, the cop wasn't even on him. So, where where does the whole argument come from? You get that, but if I try to pass a fake 20 and resist, I bet you I don't. If you resist arrest, I don't care who you are. I know I have resisted arrest in a situation when I was younger because I thought I was wrongfully being arrested. Guess what? I was tossed around like a pinata and thrown to the ground and held at gunpoint. So I don't buy that narrative and the race narrative that is being put out there. No, I was tossed around like a rag doll and then slammed into the ground where the wind was knocked out of me. And then my arms were jerked behind my back and I was handcuffed. And then I had a gun held to the back of my head until they had handcuffs on me. So yeah, I don't buy the narrative that this just happens to black people, or this just happens to native people, or this just happens to Asian people. You resist arrest, and guess what? You're going to get your butt whooped. Big time. So when I get pulled over by a police officer, just like yesterday, they ask me, and I went to I took it all the way to trial, and the state dropped it. So I'm not a felon. I got pulled over yesterday. Cop asked, "Do you have any firearms on you?" I said, "Absolutely." I said, "I have one on my hip, one in my center console. I have an AR-15 in the back. I have a tactical shotgun right behind my seat. Can you please step out of the vehicle?" "Yes, sir." Hands away from the gun. He relieved me of the gun, set it on the front seat, rolled my window up, shut the door. "Do you know why I stopped you?" "I was speeding." "Complied the whole time." Guess what? The guy let me off with a warning. I would respect goes a long ways. So, yeah. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm packing a gun each and every single day. It doesn't matter whether I am out and about, whether I'm at home, I have a gun on me. The cops, when they come to my home, they know that there's a loaded firearm right next to the door. Everybody knows that when they come to my house, there's guns. No, Squirrely, this happened on my way home from that job. But compliance with police officers, regardless of whether or not you believe you did wrong, comply with their orders, and guess what? You will walk away. Been pulled over several times and advised the police I have a concealed carry permit and where my pistol is, and I always offer the option for them to take it while they're dealing with me if they wish. They always decline. Just say not to reach for it, etc. Totally cool about it. If you act right and be honest, majority of the cops are cool. Absolutely. For me, I have a history, and they know it, which is why they relieve me of my gun each and every single time. But guess what? They always give it back, and they're always respectful. So, if anybody takes anything away from this whole thing, be respectful. $20 is $20. If it's counterfeit, it's against the law anyways, and you shouldn't have it. And if he had drugs in his system, he was probably trying to exchange it. Guess what? It's part of the job. You encounter people. There is a BLM activist who is a pastor, and he actually went and took a training course with the local PD. They offered to take him as a use of force training incident. They gave him 3 scenarios, and each one of those narratives, or each one of those stories or things that they put him through, scenarios, he had to make split-second decisions. And every single time, he pulled out his firearm and he fired. He had less than 10 seconds, or he had less than 3 seconds to react. One was he was approaching a suspect who was a police officer in civilian clothes, but he stopped the person. Hey, you're Jimmy the lock. Can I help you? Is this your vehicle? So on and so forth. The guy backed up to the back of the vehicle, and then he pulled out his gun. And right as soon as he came out from behind the gun or behind the vehicle, he got shot. And he had a handgun in his hand. Multiple stories, multiple instances, all of them end with people getting hurt. So when I look at everything that happens, do I think his death was tragic? Absolutely. Do I think it was justified? No. Do I think it was just the cop putting the knee on the back of the neck that did it? No. And that's just the facts. That's my opinion, and people can criticize me for it. I don't care. So, yeah, as far as anything else, I don't really have anything else for you guys right now. We will have more for you guys this evening. Definitely see you guys this evening on the live. It's going to be at 7 p.m. And as always, if you got a pen and a microphone, use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. We'll see you tonight.